Hey guys, Reckoning here, welcome back to Let's Play Katawa Shoujo. Last time, we found out that the reason Hanako wasn't leaving her room is because it was her birthday, and that's something that she does. She just locks herself in her room. But we already knew that. But we heard it again. Let's start this part. The occasional passing students give badly hidden glances at the plate of food I carried to the female dormitories. It's hardly a meal to be proud of, only being an instant microwave meal from the convenience store, but it should at least fill her up. Eventually I arrive outside of her room, after having to ward off a couple of girls who jokingly tried to pilfer the food I'd taken so long to procure. I decided to forego knocking, since it was proven to be an utterly useless measure and somewhat difficult to do with my hands full. Hanako, it's Sal. I know you're listening, I got some food for you. Silence, as I expected. I'll leave it beside your door. Please eat it at least, okay? There, I've said my piece. Now it's up to her. Putting the plate down, I walk back to my own room to eat my dinner. By the time I return to Hanako's dormitory, a good hour's passed. Thankfully, there isn't anything to be seen beside her door. I walk back at least somewhat happier that she's eating. If she intends to get through this by herself, then being able to help, even if it's just in such a small way, is at least something. I could have just waited another minute and a half, really? Scumbag game. I sit reading in the library after school, turning page after page, barely registering the words written out of sheer boredom. With my cheek resting in my hand, I can't help noticing the slightly rough feeling against my palm. Won't be long before I'll need to get a razor. Giving up on reading, I simply let my head drop onto the book in front of me. Things have quieted down considerably since Hanako began attending school again. When she first returned to class, nothing was said nor done that wasn't part of the usual routine, and it's been the same way since. Neither of us decided to bring up her accident, so there simply wasn't any point in pursuing it. Thus, a few days went by, the daily grind continuing just as it had before. It's only natural that my mind would wander to other places, and more importantly, other people. The lily-shaped hole in the daily life of Hanako and I has been pretty noticeable for a while now. I'd be pleased to say that this has allowed me some time to refine just what my thoughts on her exactly are, but alas, I've had no such luck. It doesn't help that many attempts to do so have led to the troublesome topic of Iwanako. Every time my thoughts drift onto into that direction, I reflexively try to think about something else. Why did this have to happen now? I turn and look up to the source of the tentative voice coming from behind me. Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb anyone. That's not it. I glanced around the orange-tinted room, quickly realizing how silly my apology must have sounded. In the time I've spent thinking and lazing around in here, everyone's well and truly left. Library closing? If you don't want to go, I could keep it open a bit longer. It's no trouble at all. Don't worry, I should get going anyway. Thanks. As I get up and begin to move off, I feel Yuko's eyes drilling into my back. Is there something wrong? You look depressed. You okay? Yuko nervously twists her fingers as she says this, unsure whether she's overstepping her boundaries or not. I really can't tell if she's more worried about my mood or about bothering me. Normally I'd just shrug it off and assure that I'm fine, but my reflective mood gets the better of me. Despite being staff, she doesn't really feel as much like an authority figure as the others. It's just, I guess the best term for it would be relationship problems. Oh, I'm not too good with that kind of thing. My only relationship ended a bit abruptly. But if you want to talk about it, I mean, I could listen, I think. Now I feel kind of bad for bringing it up. She's not that old, though, so at least she has a good chance of finding another partner. It isn't like we're in a bad situation right now. We've spent many days together as friends, sometimes going out to do stuff, that kind of thing. But I'm starting to want to do more for her, learn more about her, and be with her more. I'm not sure whether it's actually love or not, and though and our friendship as it stands is enjoyable. You shouldn't let that stop you. Sorry. How to say this? I think that it's nice you have a good friendship, but school is going to eventually end. Do you think you'd be fine with not knowing it if it could have gone further after you graduated? Guess that's the crux of the problem. I really have no idea what the answer to that question is. Well, I can't really help there. Which true feelings are something you have to decide for yourself. But I think that if you do love her, you should definitely say something. After thinking about it really hard, I decided that even though my relationship didn't work out, it's still better that way than never knowing if it might have or not. I never expected Yuko to sound so wise. It only makes sense that with more life experience than I, she'd have a better idea about this. While I suppose not very much was actually answered, talking to her has helped me get it off my chest. And I've no doubt that I should confess if I really do like Lilly. I give a slightly frustrated sigh. But only reading so much actually helps when it comes to a situation like this. She gives a girlish giggle, which only reinforces my view of her being different from the usual staff here. In the end, that all comes down to what will happen after school finishes once again. Considering what happened before I came to Yamaku, it feels like being asked to keep up with a field of runners despite having started from a dozen yards behind them. It's just one more motive to move on from the past. The last thing I need right now is to get too caught up in that getting homesick while I'm at it. Once again, I find myself calling Lilly. My phone bill is going to be horrific considering this is international. But it's worth it. I don't only want to smooth over her feeling from the last time I called. I genuinely want to talk to her again. When the phone finally picks up, I easily recognize the voice on the other end. English, Sato, English. Hello, Miss Sato, may I, speak? Damn, I've forgotten how the rest is supposed to go. It's not encouraging to forget such a small amount of words, even if I didn't spend that long trying to memorize them. May I speak with Lilly, please? Hello again, Hisao. Are you teaching yourself English? Just a little. I don't think I'm too good at languages in general. Oh, don't say that. Your pronunciation was good. I'll get Lilly for you. Just wait a moment. I obediently wait as she goes off in search of Lilly, the other end going silent. Eventually, a much more awake-sounding Lilly than last time answers, this time over there being past noon by now. Hisao, are you there? Yeah, I'm here. Hi. Good afternoon. Sorry for taking so long. I was outside in the garden. Gardening? Unfortunately, I found I'm no good at it, so I just smell the flowers. I think my fingers appreciate it more. I take it Hanako's recovered a bit? Yeah, just made sure she was eating, and she eventually righted herself. Thanks for the help the other day. I don't think I was really that much help. The main thing is that she's better, though. True. How's life over there, then? Sounds like you've been living in nothing short of a mansion. Wouldn't call it a mansion. But it is rather large, is obviously what she wants to say, though modesty stops her. I'm a little envious, but it is her holiday. It's a nice house to stay in, though. There's a beach near here, too, which Akira's especially fond of. She's a swimmer? She's constantly dragging me there to have swimming competitions, which she wins, every time. Lilly doesn't strike me as very athletic at all, so not being adept at swimming seems logical enough. Weird thing is, and I saw this on Mythbusters, actually. If you can't see, you can't swim in a straight line. I figured you'd be able to. But according to Mythbusters, you can't swim in a straight line if you're like blindfolded or something. Or blind in general. I figured you'd be able to, but apparently not. Or was that walking in a straight line? No, I think they tried walking and swimming. And they couldn't walk or swim in a straight line. Seems weird, but I don't know. She might be able to do it. The fastest I've ever seen her move is her understandably relaxed pace during her walks to and from the suburbs down the hill from the school. It makes the image of her swimming hard to imagine. The beaches today must look nice. They'd be less crowded than the ones around here, at least. Indeed. Kira says the area around here looks beautiful because it's so far outside the city. I only realize what I've said after I say it, but it doesn't bother her at all. It's still easy to forget that she can't see when she's not around, despite all the time we've been friends. That said, the local accent sometimes makes communication a bit hard. It's a constant reminder that this isn't home. While the fact that she doesn't consider her parents' residence to be her home makes good sense, it makes me realize that I can't really answer whether the same goes for me. Graduation from Yamaku is distant enough to be difficult to view objectively, and I've spent so much time in this little room. I've come to accept the dormitory as my new home surprisingly quickly. I guess that would be hard to deal with. Is your knowledge of English holding up? Thankfully, I may be fluent, but being in a position where I have to use it often helps in curbing my Japanese accent, so it's been useful practice. I hear you're trying to teach yourself English? More like memorizing a few lines and failing at even that much. I'm not really cut out for learning another language. Yet you learn sign language for Shizune. Well, he doesn't learn it perfectly, as far as I know. My admission of defeat draws an amused giggle. I believe there are things one chooses to do in life, and also things that are chosen for one to do in life. You can take comfort in the fact you're better than me in science and math, at least. All that's helped is making me Muto's star student. I wouldn't worry about it. They're useful skills for many jobs, right? That's what he tells me. His face veritably lit up when I said I'd probably go into a career involving either. We both share a warm laugh at the events that have befallen each other on opposite ends of the world. It's nice and reminds me of our simple small talk that I've been missing since she left. As each of us waits for the other to begin speaking, I decide to push ahead with my feelings. I can feel my throat tightening slightly. I miss you. The silence on the other end of the phone tells me she's given the words their due weight, but as it goes on, I can't help feeling more and more apprehensive. Thankfully, the silence ends almost as quickly as it had begun. I miss you too, Sal. Goodbye. Goodbye, Lily. Once again, the phone is hung up, simply and without any further ado. That light, tentative, almost shy voice, her warm and soft tone, I'd simply be lying to myself if I were to say that I don't recognize this feeling for what it is. Without thoughts of Lily dancing on my mind, I start anticipating her return. Today has been a most excellent day. I sit listening to another of Muto's long-winded lectures, my mind wandering far from the scribbles on the dirty blackboard. Since I called Lily, my mind's been drawn in two directions. Both roughly lead to the same conclusion. I've started to feel oddly detached from my past life. It's only been a month and a half since I arrived here, yet this school has become a second home. I've gained new friends and contacts, managed to get grips with the school's lifestyle and culture, and become accustomed to the quirks of my classmates. Become used to a school where disabilities are the norm, rather than the rare exception, still catches me off guard when I think of it. The same school that's populated by burn victims, amputees, the blind, the deaf, and all manner of disabilities in between. If someone had described the school to me before I'd come, I'd have shrugged it off as an overactive imagination. Even when I first arrived, I felt like the Dutch coming to a strange new land for the first time. It's amazing how quickly one becomes used to the environment they've forced themselves to live in. They're forced to live in. And now I found someone that's got me entirely smitten. What a strange life. Before my mind can wander any further, though, I find a page of lined paper slipped onto my distracted face. The garish, bright pink ink has no doubt been penned by Misha. Don't look so bored, Hee-chan. School's nearly over. 3-day holiday. Alright, we get Saturday and Monday off. Can't complain about having less school, I suppose. I uncap my pen and scribble on the page before covertly passing it back to her, flicking my eyes up to the front of the class every now and then. Muto continues scrawling away arcane equations and formulas on the board. I'm guessing you have something planned? Misha takes the paper back and hunches over comically, even for her, with her tongue poking through the side of her mouth. Did she misinterpret my expression as depressed, and is she trying to cheer me up? Student council work with Shi-chan, of course. You're still not brooding over that, surely. But Hee-chan could have helped those poor lonely girls. I'd lend you a hand for today if I weren't going to be busy. Ooh, naughty naughty, Hee-chan. I'm just gonna meet Lily with Hanako. I don't know what you've got going through your head. So Lily's back? Yeah, she's coming on the evening flight with her sister. She'll be back in school next week. As she takes the note back and begins to write, I look up to see an unwelcome sight. While I frantically try to silently catch Misha's attention, Muto confidently strides through the gap between the desks from the front of the class, his intent gaze focused directly on her. She suddenly stops writing as his tall figure casts an impossibly long shadow over the page. He silently takes the piece of paper from her and begins to read. Sweating bullets, I quickly glance around the class, noting the complete silence. Of course, it would have been the one it would just have to be the one thing that actually gets their attention during the lesson. After a scant few seconds examining the page, he rolls the paper up into a small tube and lightly bops Misha over the head with it. Half an hour until you can hop off to the student council. I think you can hold on till then. Misha's face cracks as the entire class erupts into laughter. He might well be awkward, but he knows how to handle her excellently. I'd probably feel sorry for her if I weren't as busy stifling my own laughter. Hisao, is that the right voice? I don't think it was. Hisao, is that one him? No, I think that's some foreign airline. And so, the third aircraft they're not on comes into land. For the past half hour, we've been whiling away the time with small snippets of pointless chatter. Lilly and Akira's flight has been delayed, and at this rate it'll probably be dark before the plane arrives. Is that one it? No, the company colors are wrong. Hanako's eyes flutter left and right, following the trickle of people in and out of the huge glass doors ahead of us. Fortunately, nobody pays her much heed, their attention apparently directed toward greater things. Maybe that one's it. No, I think that's... Hold on a minute, I think that one might be it after all. It still takes some time before the billboard changes their flight status to disembarking. A loud yawn sneaks up on me, not allowing enough time to stifle it. My sleep patterns have, once again, been all over the place, likely due to a mix of worrying about Hanako and the side effects of my medications. So, over there. I look to Hanako, then follow her gaze to the airport door. Oh, Lilly, they're here. Really? We call out to each other in greeting, quickly shuffling over to the side to avoid blocking the passage of others. Lilly! Lilly jumps forward to hug Lilly. Lilly jumps forward to... God damn it! Hanako jumps forward to hug Lilly, a wide smile on her face being all that's needed to see her happiness at Lily's return. Lilly simply smiles in return, her voice soft. It's wonderful to meet you again, Hanako. As the two gave each other a hug, well-deserved after all that's happened while she was gone, I turned to Akira. Yo. You're pretty late. Yeah, there was a really bad storm over the airport. We got drenched just going from the car to the door. I guess you'll appreciate the weather more then. Welcome back to you too, Lilly. Hanako breaks up from Lilly as I speak. For a long time, neither of us says a word. Contrary to what I thought her homecoming would be like, the atmosphere feels awkward, almost stifling. Both of us try to guess each other's feelings, and not quite sure about what should be said. Damn, this is exactly what I feared when I thought of trying to move things forward between us. Lilly runs her hand through her fair hair and awkwardly twirls one of her bangs in her fingers, clearly trying to think of how best to react. Eventually, thankfully, Lilly gives a small sigh and breaks the silence. Thank you, Basel. It's nice to be back. You okay? You look tired. Evidently not recollecting herself all that well, she quickly waves her hand in front of her face to stave off any concern Hanako may have over her. I'm okay, really. It's just a bit of jet lag. Weak. You don't have any? She simply gives a big grin, puffing out her modest chest. I feel absolutely fine. That's not fair. Ah, well, you shouldn't take too long to get rid of it. Ah, that's right, Isao? Yeah? Don't we all have a holiday from school soon? I'd have forgotten if Misha hadn't reminded me this morning. We got a 3-day weekend starting from tomorrow. Akira playfully bumps her elbow lightly into Lily's side, grinning. Told you wouldn't miss it. You have something planned? If neither you nor Hanako are busy. I've got no plans, so something to do would be appreciated. Hanako? No, nothing. That's good. I was thinking we could go to my family's summer house for a bit of quiet over the break. We rarely used it recently, though, so we'd have to dust things up while we were there. Oh, where is it? Up north in Hokkaido. Did I say that right? Hokkaido? Like Hokkaido? Let's go with Hokkaido. I don't know how the Japanese pronounce that. Oh, yeah, Hokkaido! That kind of sounds right. Hokkaido. Okay. The place is practically deserted, so it should be a nice quiet break for you guys. You're not coming? Nah, I got a little holiday of my own set up with my boyfriend. I lower my eyes at her, suspicious of her intentions. Sounds like we're just cleaning up the summer house for you. That's perhaps a valid conclusion. Both of us zero in on Akira, her face somewhat evasive. Looks like we were right. That's just a convenient bonus, really. Me and the guy left it in pretty good condition last time we were there, I promise. Now then, I'm out of here. Already? Akira. She quickly turns and walks away, her hand held high. See you in a few days, guys. Lilly and I can only sigh at her hasty retreat. It does sound like it would be a nice place to go. Lilly gives an enthusiastic nod, taking her carry bag in one hand, placing her other on Hanako's shoulder for guidance as we begin to make our way to the taxi area. After the fracas of the past few days, spending a weekend in the country alone with her and Hanako sounds like a dream. The more I think about it, the more sure I am. This will be the right time and place to confess my feelings to her. Sorry about that, just had to unmute my mic. It was annoying as shit. What was I doing? Oh, right. The morning chill wraps itself around my shivering body. I huff into my cup hands to desperately try and stave off the cold as we mill about on the station platform. Lily's clothing looks rather ill-suited for the temperature around us. I can only hope it's indicative of what she expects the weather to be like at our destination. Damn it, Lily, why do we have to get here so early? Unfortunately, the train schedule is against us. The next train to Hokkaido is at 2 in the afternoon. Great, just great. I pause a moment to wipe some sleep out of my eyes, and Lily promptly takes advantage of the opening. Cheer up, Asao. Once we get there, it'll be much warmer. Why not just take the bullet train? Normal train is going to take hours to get us there, so we might as well take this Shinkansen line as far as it goes, and then just switch at the end. There's a certain charm to older trains, wouldn't you agree? I'd agree if we weren't in the freezing morning cold because we decided to take one. I'm sorry, Asao. Sorry, what for? I was the one who suggested taking a normal train. Way to make me feel guilty. All I can do is sigh and cover my face with my hand. It's fine, I'm just grumbling. My, Hanako, you didn't shoulder all the blame yourself. Even without your suggestion, I'd still have opted for the same thing. Thankful for the quick interception from Lily, I take a quick gander around the station. Aside from us, the train's platform's all but deserted, the morning dew settling on the empty benches. Guess no one else was masochistic enough to brave the very early morning. Though if someone was, they'd notice the huge bags both Lily and Hanako had brought with them. Just what'd you have to pack into those things anyway? The bags? She pauses a moment and tilts her head in thought. Change of clothing, raincoat, underwear, sleepwear, a number of books. I think that's most of it. You make it sound as if I'm unprepared. You brought less? Underwear and a pack of cards, that's it. And my pillows, but never mind that. No pajamas? Damn, I knew I forgot something. As I ruffle my hair in frustration, Lily sighs. There'd be clothes you could use there. Akira still occasionally goes there after all, and I think some of our parents' clothing is still in storage. I don't think there'll be any problem with you borrowing a set of pajamas if need be. Thanks. Still, I don't mind just sleeping in my normal clothing. For 2 days? Good point. Not really, though 2 days would be borderline. It's more than looking even a little like a slob. It's more that looking even a little like a slob would be unacceptable while in the presence of 2 girls. As we leisurely talk on the station platform, an announcement sounds from the loudspeakers, loudly heralding our ride's arrival. Looking past Lily and Hanako, though, the train's still well out of sight. A quick check of my watch is enough to see that it's the one we'll be taking. The 5:30 train was ours, right? Correct. Either of you want me to take your bags? Mine's not exactly heavy. My, that's very gentlemanly of you, Hasao. Don't accept it reluctantly now. As I bend down to pick up Lily's large bag, I looked up to see Hanako picking up hers. You fine with that? A silent nod is the only answer. I'm starting to get the feeling that by the trip's end, I'll be able to count every sentence she said on one hand. With the morning landscape passing by the window and the occasional rattle of the train bumping the carriage around, I try to focus my attention on the aging playing cards held in my hands. I'll raise you 5. She scrunches her face up and leans over to Lily conspiratorially, the two exchanging a few whispered words. Considering how often this has happened so far, I'm coming to doubt Hanako's grasp on how to play poker. It doesn't seem to disturb Lily's reading, though, her hands flitting over each page with only occasional corrections to account for the train's bumping and rocking. My collection of chess pieces that we're using as chips is steadily growing away, so it doesn't really bother me. Anyway. Looking around us, our carriage is almost as empty as the station platform we waited for the train itself on. Only a handful of people can be seen, looking mostly like tourists and couples on holiday. While the two continue their less than clandestine strategizing, the small boy looks over the seat and stares at me. Hopefully he doesn't begin to stare at Hanako. Hoping that he doesn't begin to stare at Hanako, I simply give him a wave and a smile. Thankfully, he retreats back to his seat after finding me far too boring to waste his attention on. I'll see you and raise you another 5. Damn, you got me. I fold. I've been bluffing and she's caught me. Hanging my head, I push over a large portion of my winnings. Hanako looks absolutely delighted, and even if Lilly keeps her attention focused on her reading material, I can see the smirk on her face. They're both extremely pleased. For a moment, I try to work out what Lily's reading. The cover is too faded to read beyond the fact that Roman letters are on it. A pity I can't read the braille above the printed title. What are you reading, Lily? The title looks like it's in English. That's right. It's And Then There Were None, an old British story. I could read it to you if you'd like. She extends the offer with a grin, obviously in jest. I think I'll pass, thanks. After a seemingly endless trip, we finally reached the promised land of the Sato summer house. Even after the train trip, the walk up seemed to take forever. Despite my grumblings, though, I'd never guessed the sight that would be in store for us once we traveled that long, deserted road. It looks more like a farmhouse than the everyday house I'd imagined, small in size and surrounded by trees and bushes. An empty expanse of wheat fields and farmland can be seen as we walk up, the fencing only consisting of rickety old wooden planks. It really drives home how far we are from major cities, and a site that feels antithetical to the environment I grew up in. The only thing that doesn't surprise me is its western styling. Wow, it's amazing out here. It's wonderful. That's nice to hear. While Akira may have said that she kept the house in reasonable condition, I was worried that she might have had different standards of reasonable. Looks like there isn't another soul for miles. I thought Akira would be the type to keep to the city. Lily furrows her brow in thought, seemingly recalling almost forgotten knowledge. From memory, there's a small town not too far ahead. Other than that, though, this is largely just old farmland. Akira and I stayed in our parents' house in the nearest city for a while, but after they left, we decided to move in a smaller, more easily manageable house. Maintainable. To find a place like this in Japan nowadays is kind of anachronistic. Well, this town does have quite a bit of history. Look down the street one last time before getting back to the task at hand. Shall we go in then? I'm parched. It was a long walk to get here. Lily gives an enthusiastic nod, the three of us lugging our bags into the house. As soon as we set foot inside, Hanako and I start looking around, taking in every detail of where we'll be staying for the next few days. All the artifacts of another life stop mid-motion or around the house, such as the television guide laying beside the countertop and pans in the adjoining kitchen still sitting on the stove. It's a strange feeling, really, as if we're stepping into Akira's life for a brief moment before leaving in a couple of days just as we come. Of course, the more mundane reality is that she just hasn't cleaned up after herself that well. Where should we put our bags? I'll show Hanako our bedroom. You can put yours here if you like. You mean I don't have the same bedroom as you two? Hanako flowers into a full blush as Lily takes a cheek in her hand. Oh my, how bold. You two. Hold on, if I'm to leave my bags here, where will I be sleeping? Well, seeing as we lack a guest bedroom... and convertible futon, huh? Sorry, Hisao. I sigh, lamenting my place on the bottom rung of sleeping location priorities. I guess there's no other choice. Lily leaves to show Hanako to their bedroom, so I take a small tour of my surroundings after I drop my bag to the floor. The kitchen, just like the living room, is fairly modest. The rustic nature of the wooden furnishings drives home just how far we are from civilization. Returning to the living room, I decided to try the television until they get back. With a touch of the remote, immediately flickers to life, apparently set to a news channel. Almost flopping down from exhaustion rather than sitting, I lay back and watch. And watch. And watch. So, I quickly blinked to wake myself up, Lily and Hanako having returned minus their bags. From the Hokkaido night sky visible outside the windows, it looks like I drifted off to sleep. Looking to the wall-mounted clock, it's already 10. You found the television, then? Yeah, it really does feel nice and homey here. I'm glad you like it. You were already out like a light when we came back after unpacking our things, so we didn't have the heart to wake you sooner. Judging from her giggle, I must sound funny when I sleep. I swiftly decide not to inquire. There's some dinner waiting for you in the kitchen. Hanako gives a deep yawn, only just remembering to cover her mouth at the last second. My, are you tired? I didn't get much sleep last night. I'm pretty tired too. It was a long walk up here and it's getting late. If that's the case, I suppose we should retire for the night. Good night, Hisao. Good night. Night. He just woke up! With that, they quietly turn and walk back to their bedroom. Rubbing my eyes, I sigh. Wonder if I'll be able to get back to sleep after being woken up. Suppose I'll eat something and watch some more TV quietly before going to bed. That took way too long. Is he still sleeping? I think so. I'm not. I am, however, incredibly tired. It's getting late in the morning. I know that. He likely stayed up to watch television. I could hear it from our bedroom. Only because I couldn't get to sleep. Should we wake him? Don't do that, Hanako, please. No, we should leave him. I doubt he'd want to be woken early if he didn't get much sleep during the night. Thank you, Lilly. Besides, he sounds so peaceful. It'd be a shame to wake him when he's like this. Keep a straight face, Asao. It's nice you care so much, though. Hanako, could you go to the fridge and fish out what's needed to make lunch? Alright, just the vegetables and rice? That should be enough. We only need something simple, as we can eat in town later. Hanako's footsteps on the carpeted floor can be heard, moving away from the living room. As they do, I feel Lily's hand gently rest on my chest. It takes a titanic effort not to react, but something about her makes me think she knows I'm awake. A long silence passes. The only thought in my mind is that of the gentle, outstretched hand laying upon my chest. After an indiscernible amount of time, Lilly withdraws her hand. Good morning, Asao. Conceding defeat all too easily, I prop myself up and rubbed my eyes. How'd you know? Your breathing was off. Well, that makes sense. You couldn't have needed that long to work it out. Knowing her hearing, she likely knew before laying her hand on me. If you want to sleep more, you really should go to bed early. I heard the television going long into the night. Sorry about it. My medication's been interfering with my sleep for a while now. Even if I'm tired, I actually have trouble actually sleeping. I'm sorry for bringing it up, Asao. I sigh. This is exactly the thing I wish others wouldn't do. Okay. Now, addressing it adds a Lily point, waving her off, takes one away. Let's address it. Come on, you worry about me more than I do at times. It just means I have to sleep a bit longer, that's all. But still. I'd say that I look absolutely fine, but I guess that wouldn't have a lot of meaning for you. She gives a sigh of consternation before trailing off with an amused chuckle, giving up the point. If you say so, please do take care of yourself, Asao. Go on, Hanako could use some help. She moves to protest, but reluctantly... I don't know how you would say that. Acquiesces? I don't know. And disappears into the kitchen, her hand running along the smooth white walls she slowly walks. For a while I sit and watch television, again, in an attempt to wake myself a little more, but it's futile. I don't have anything better to do, so I follow Lily's lead. As I round the corner, I see Hanako and Lilly, backs turned, quietly cutting food on the granite-colored counter. I'm temporarily engrossed as I watch Lilly guiding the knife down carefully with a finger on the cabbage she's cutting, each slice delivered slowly but with precision. She seems a little slow, but considering that she can't see what she's doing, it's a small wonder she can cook at all, let alone for both her and Hanako. Hi, Hanako. Lilly, want any help? Oh, I remember what happens here. Oh, morning, Asao. Is that his... Ah! Lilly jerks back in surprise before turning around, her yelp immediately drawing Hanako and I to her side. What's... Ah. A small trickle of scarlet falls downward from her pale fingertip, the knife having cut just deep enough to draw blood. With the television sound masking my footsteps, she must not have noticed me coming. To compensate for having to use touch to guide everything she does during cooking, she must need to pay extra attention. Lilly! Don't worry, Hanako. It's just a small wound. You still should get a band-aid on it, at least until it stops bleeding. First aid stuff would be in the bathroom, right? I think so. Will you be okay here, Hanako? Sounded like my voice cut out when I tried to say Hanako. Probably did. Probably talking too low. I don't know. I found out how little heed she's paying to herself when Hanako gives a quick, almost automatic nod. Yeah, it's fine. I can keep making lunch. An awkward silence reigns as I set the bottle of antiseptic and box of Band-Aids on the side of the sink, Lily's finger held out for me to treat. The lid of the bottle comes off with a minimum of resistance, and the small ball of cotton I soak in the liquid stains a pale green. Okay, hold still, this will probably hurt a bit. She gives a small nod as I take hold of her hand to steady it. With all the tenderness I can muster, I gently bring the dampened wad to the small red line. Ah! What? I barely touched it. Sorry. I give a sigh, both at her reaction and to settle my own nerves. Her pain tolerance is startlingly low. I would tell you to man up, but I can't really do that. As she gives a small giggle, I take advantage of her momentary distraction and gently press the cotton against her finger a few times. Thankfully, it's enough to do the job. We both settle somewhat as I bring the Band-Aid over the tip of her finger, covering the wound while making sure not to get it stuck to her fingernail. There, finished. You can move now. Taking her hand from mine, she gently clasps it in the other. Thank you. It's no problem. It's the least I can do after causing you to hurt yourself, after all. She lowers her head slightly at the apology, absent-mindedly rubbing her hand in what seems to be embarrassment. I really don't mind. Her answer doesn't seem to make much sense, given that what happened is pretty clearly my fault. I can't help grimacing at her, despite the fact that her dainty smile still holds. She must not like being reminded of the limitations her lack of sight imposes on her. It's something I can't possibly fault her for. I've fallen prey to the same kind of feelings before, despite my condition not being nearly as ubiquitous in my life. Neither of us any the happier if we head back to the various smells of cooking food coming from the kitchen. I lay out the plates of food, steam slowly rising from the well-cooked rice and curry dishes. Is it curry bread? Maybe. No, it's not curry bread. Can't be. While Hanako lays out the cutlery. Knife one side, fork on the other. Western. How perfectly fitting for someone like Lily. As we take our seats, taking careful heed of the dark red tablecloth hanging below our knees, Lily emerges from the kitchen. In her hands are 3 glasses and a bottle of wine. As I recall our previous run-in with that devilish elixir, I hide my face in my palm. Alcohol? Seriously? She pauses as she reaches the table, a playful grin perched on her face. Akira specifically gave permission to take a bottle from her collection. Not only does she give alcohol to minors, she even lets them pilfer their own. The perfect model of a responsible adult, Akira is not. More to the point, though, is this is hardly a meal deserving of alcohol. I'm starting to think Lily's the type to become easily hooked on things. That's not really the problem. I don't have any qualms with it, but didn't you have a bad experience with it last time? Last time was likely due to drinking too much, so a single glass shouldn't prove a problem. Think of it as a learning experience. I can't really recall many learning experiences made me feel rotten before putting me to sleep, but I'll take your word for it. She dips an uninjured fingers inside the field of liquid level, tipping against the bottom as the liquid rises up. The white of her finger almost seems to glow as the sunlight hits it, the delicate outline blurred and reflected by the glass. Her fingers are definitely longer than mine, the kind I think more suited to a pianist than a teacher. She'd likely have done well if she'd learned how to play. That actually brings up a good point. Like, the very first version of this game, which I guess you could call the alpha, it's kind of called Grid 1. It's the original version of what this game was going to be. Graphics were not as good, the girls looked completely different. And in that, Lily, well, there wasn't much to it, it was really just the first day of school, but Lily did not use a cane. She had a seeing eye dog, and she played the violin. I do remember that. So, just thought I should bring that up. Alright. We quickly dig into our meal, forks and knives clattering against plates. None of us are particularly eager to speak up while eating. Lily altogether too reserved for such a thing. Hanako probably too shy to start a conversation, and I too busy savoring the food. Such a pedestrian activity, eating together at a table. It seems so utterly normal, yet it makes me realize how long it's been since I've done something like this. Just the 3 of us sitting around a single table eating as if it were a malformed family. Maybe this trip, as far away from everything as we are, was worth it. It takes quite a long time, but eventually we all finish our surprisingly filling meal. The wine, thankfully, has little effect given we've only had a glass or 2 each. I slump back into the seat, rubbing my stomach contentedly. I'm stuffed. Lily pats her mouth with a napkin. Twice, only twice, and with evenly timed intervals in between. It's hard to tell sometimes whether how she acts as well-trained routine or a well-rehearsed act. I think I must be as well. Did you like it, Hanako? It was nice. Now that we're all fed, shall we be off? Off? Where? Ah, you weren't privy to the discussion between Hanako and I earlier. I get the impression she's having a subtle dig at my sleeping in. We'll be going into the town nearby. Guess you should have expected two girls to take a holiday as an excuse to go shopping no matter where on the planet they may be. Honestly, I think I'll stop the part out there since we're at the 41-minute mark. Next time on Let's Play Katawa Shoujo, we will go shopping with Lilly and Hanako, and return, and maybe things will happen back here. Who knows? Well, I do, but you probably don't. But I have to keep that a secret. So, until then, I'm Reckoning, you're the viewer. Give me a like or favorite if you like this video, drop me a comment, most likely telling me to improve my speech patterns, if not anything else I can improve on. And until next time, stay classy.